A student's educational program is a function of many resources within the school. The complete educational program has many aspects: academic, social, recreational, and vocational. One of the most valuable resources is the community which surrounds the school. Vocational experience in small, privately owned businesses close by the school can give students opportunities to put into practice those skills learned over a long period of time in the school program. It can pave the way for the development of skills and attitudes which will allow much greater chance of success later in a more permanent job. One of the most important aspects of our vocational program at the School for the Blind is orientation and mobility training. In fact, for some of the students, learning to get to the job is often as time-consuming as learning the job itself. One of the selling points we use in getting our students jobs is the flexibility of the program, the availability of an instructor to accompany the child, to work with them on the site, and to coordinate the academic program to the skills and the communication needs of the job. We stress that our students can fit in during those times of peak activities when their skills are really needed, and during those times the students really prove their worth and their effectiveness. The mother of one of our students has been going to a local beauty shop for quite some time. While she was getting her hair cut, she mentioned that one of her daughter's classmates at the school has been doing quite well in the pre-vocational program. When the owners expressed interest in using one of our students part-time, the parent asked them if they'd like to talk to one of the teachers at the school. When a teacher phoned them, one of the owners asked if a student would be able to help them out on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoons when they were really busy. An instructor visited the site to determine how the student could best fit in, to see if any adaptations of tasks would be necessary, and to set up some ideas for teaching those tasks. One of the first questions employers ask is, how do I communicate with the student? The instructor assures them at that point that he'll accompany the student during the training, teach the tasks, and work on the communication, speech, and language necessary for the job. Working on site with the student, the instructor is able to show the owners the signs and the gestures they would need to communicate with the student. What worked in this case was devising a system of vocabulary cards with symbols. In the case of sweeping, a simple picture of a broom symbolized sweep the floor. If each of the owners could determine what the symbol represented at first viewing, we retained the symbol. The student learned the vocabulary, gestures, while the owners learned the words the student could hear and understand most clearly. The vocabulary cards served a different purpose now. They set up a priority of tasks and ensured that each task was done. As she finished a task, she'd use the symbol cards as a checklist. In addition to the communication skills involved, we also had to work on eye-hand coordination and visual discrimination skills. Because of the color of the floor, for example, she couldn't discern most shades of hair from the floor background. So we evolved a way of covering an area with the broom and drawing the strokes into a central area so that she had a pile of hair large enough to see. Then she would be able to bring the pile toward the rear of the shop where she could pick it up with a dustpan. One of the most time-consuming tasks in a beauty shop is separating the rods and curlers used for permanent waves. The different colors indicate different sizes of rods and curlers. They have to be cleaned, separated into the respective bags and bins, then returned to the work area. The manipulative skills, the eye-hand coordination, and the dexterity necessary for this task were developed over a 6-year period in the pre-sheltered workshop, as well as visiting and working at sheltered workshops throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. In addition to the manipulative skills involved in sorting, the academic portion of the pre-career program has given her enough of a grasp of concepts that she'll be able to realize the function of things she works with, to be able to form a picture in her own mind of the purpose and the value of the tasks she's performing. If something doesn't seem right, she can make a decision on her own to adjust the task rearrange the sequences of the tasks, or to know when to go to her employer and ask for some help. In her 5 years of working in the infirmary, the California School for the Blind, as part of her pre-vocational program, Darlene has learned to use a washing machine and dryer. She has learned to separate, fold, and put away laundry and bedclothes. During a flu epidemic at the School for the Blind, she and 2 classmates did the laundry and made the beds for 38 students for a period of a week. This ability to adjust to circumstances and to take responsibility is just as important as the vocational skills themselves. A most important facet of a successful pre-vocational program is the frequent opportunity to have to make adjustments in schedules, to learn to conform to the needs of the situation, and in general, to learn flexibility on the job. One employer asked 2 questions before hiring 2 of our students. Are they flexible? Can they make decisions? Teaching the attitudes and the confidence to answer those 2 questions in the affirmative may require several years. It indicates the need for structure in the program and discipline in the teaching, but not rigidity. There's a wide variety of jobs in any personal service business that simply has to be done. Someone has to do them on a regular basis or as circumstances require. But during hours of peak activity, when the time simply isn't available for the owners to take care of every small task, our students have the time, the training, and the desire to do those jobs. Those years of working in the infirmary gave Darlene the opportunity to learn to clean tables, chairs, porcelain fixtures, mirrors, and glass. But because she has diabetes and a decreased sensitivity in her fingertips, she has to carry out a number of her cleaning tasks by using her residual vision and by covering an area in a regular pattern. No one told Darlene to water the plants, but 2 years of trekking up to our vegetable garden each morning showed her that plants with dry dirt need water. There's a noticeable quality to Darlene's work. There's a concern with order and neatness. Perhaps her strongest points are her attitudes of responsibility and the sense of pride so evident in her work. Her personality and skills contribute to the friendly atmosphere of the shop and to its success. Working in the beauty shop is her job. Just satisfactory isn't quite good enough. Darlene's vocational skills have come a long ways in a year and a half. But she's getting ready to graduate, to return home, to take her skills to another employer, perhaps another type of work. An important aspect of her learning job skills is to act as an instructor for the younger children in the program who will inherit her job. She'll teach her job the way it should be done and inject a little of that pride along with it. Using an older role model to teach younger children has proven very effective in the pre-vocational program. It's interesting to watch how our older students break down the sequences of a task and restructure it as they teach it to their younger classmates. The interaction between the older children and the younger is really fascinating because they are often far more demanding of quality work than their own teachers had been. Our older students are very aware of the increasing complexity of tasks in the pre-vocational program and gravitate to those more complex jobs with more prestige. The off-campus jobs demand a great deal more in the way of maturity, social skills, and communication abilities. The students prize these jobs very highly, and the self-respect and prestige that go along with it. It took about 4 months to train Darlene to do the tasks at the beauty shop well enough to have her work there on her own. It required several weeks for her to learn the mobility skills to be able to travel to and from work independently. 4 months is a small amount of time to spend to teach skills that will enable her to hold a job. One of the benefits of jobs in the community is the frequent contact the student has with people. It's there that speech and language skills find their way into conversation, then into friendships and relationships. Community involvement is the most valuable component of a child's education. There are those in the community who would like to become involved, who would like to contribute to the school program. It may require a teacher knocking on a door, asking if they'd like to take part. They need someone to show them that they can communicate, that they can teach their skills to our students. They need an avenue of involvement, someone to walk with them a little ways down that avenue. Then they can take it from there.